Thank you so much for being here. How are you? How are you doing? Welcome to my new backdrop. Wi-Fi, internet might not be great, but we're here, we're live, we're doing it. Yeah, how are you doing? Tomorrow's the full moon. It looked crazy last night. I know a couple of you are in Europe and you're already saying that the moon is out and it looks amazing. Um, it's been it's been a lot, man. Like I thought 2020 was bad, but 2021 has been its new set of challenges and issues and hurdles and just navigations. So I felt the need intuitively to hop on for a live video and relay some pretty deep information about kind of where the world is at and where we are all at, and kind of just going over what we need to know at this time. Yeah, it's been crazy. Just, I think mostly it's been all of us within our awareness, no matter how new your awareness is or old your awareness is, we are all navigating the polarizing world right now. That's truly what it comes down to, is the navigation of fear and the navigation of projection and the navigation of, doubt and anxiety and fake news has been a lot. So hopefully today, me and my beautiful trusted team of the Galactic Federation can lighten your vibe a little bit and help you out and help you feel like you are exactly where you need to be and you've got nothing to worry about. And that's how I feel, even in times of anxiety. So yeah, super excited. So we're going to go through a bunch of questions I have here. I don't have any of the answers to them. I am going to be directly channeling not just the Galactic Federation in its entirety, but I'm going to be channeling specifically my good friends, the Palladian Security Council, which is basically a council that exists within the Galactic Federation, and it's made up of about 8 Palladian beings, and they kind of give me information and have been giving me information since 2010, 2011 really, about the world and what's happening. So I'm really excited to kind of tune into them and see what their answers are to some of these things. We're going to be talking about the moon wobble and the flooding that's happening. We're going to be talking about when the Galactic Federation or beings in general are actually going to physically appear. We're going to be talking about the unvaxxed society. Trying to watch what I say. We're going to be talking about speaking your truth. We're going to be talking about divine masculine energy. Yeah, a couple of other interesting questions. And then we're going to end with, what can we do concretely to stop them from bringing on the new world order? That's probably my favorite question of the bunch, because wow, are they ever pushing? Are they ever going hard? Is there ever this building amount of propaganda that we are relentlessly being thrown on a day-to-day basis? I don't blame my friends and family members for having fear. I don't blame anyone for having fear, but that is why we have to be diligent within our discernment, and we really have to let go of all external resources of information. We are being tested and challenged right now to go within, to find our own truth and find what resonates with our frequency. So I'm interested to see what the GFL and the Security Council have to say about, literally, like, what can we do? Like, I just feel like a bump on a log. It just feels like doing energy work and sending out good vibes and white light isn't enough anymore. Like, it's just getting to this point where, just tell us, just, do we have to burn down 5G towers? Because I'm in, So I don't know. We'll see what they have to say. A lot of the time they kind of play this neutral game, and I'm usually not satisfied with their answers, but hopefully we get something more out of today. So let's just dive right in. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. Wow, you guys are so generous, and I really appreciate all the members here, and even people who aren't members. Thank you for being here and just having an open mind and questioning and being a part of this community. It's really fantastic. Okay, these questions are from Instagram, so if you want to be a part of my journey and all my exciting content, then definitely check out Instagram. First question here from Crompy 007. When will you physically appear for humanity? Great question. Let's tune in. And for those of you who have never seen me channel or don't really know what the Galactic Federation is, I'll just mention that the GFL is basically like a UN for the universe, but more of like a less corrupt UN. I just have to say it that way. And then the way that I channel them is sometimes I can bring the Galactic Federation Security Council into my room. It does take them a lot of energy to basically come from the 8th dimension where they exist into the 3rd dimension. So this time I'm just going to astral travel and remote view and project over to them. And they are on board the giant Galactic Federation mothership that actually hangs out in our solar system. So that's where I'm going to go, and I'm going to ask them the first question, which is, what is it again? Oh yeah, when will you actually physically appear for humanity? Not just towards the GFL, but like literally, when are we getting disclosure? Let's go for it. 1 second. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So the answer from the Galactic Federation Palladian Security Council, that is a freaking mouthful, by the way. It came through very clear. The first thing that they said telepathically was disclosure is happening. It is happening. And yeah, I know it's happening. But they were quite adamant on this, that humanity is ready, and disclosure is happening. And it's funny because they also said that disclosure is happening a lot more than the mainstream news will let on that it's happening. And I asked them why it's happening more than the mainstream news is allowing it to happen, or kind of giving it a platform to happen. Yeah, I said, basically, why is it being suppressed? And then they responded with, how can I put this into words? They gave me an image. Okay, if the disclosure, if UFO sightings, if like video is being suppressed, then there's more room, yes, for the elites, let's call them, to shift the narrative around UFOs. That's what they said, but they said it in an image, so it's kind of hard to it's like, it was like a funnel down of like, they're only allowing certain videos and information to leak on mainstream news. And the reason why is because they still want to obscure the narrative of aliens, and they're not sure exactly how they're going to go about doing that. We're talking about kind of the Illuminati, the elites. They want to twist it. They don't know exactly how they're going to twist it. A couple of the elites' plans have been foiled as far as twisting the narrative around disclosure. They've had some plans, and they've gotten, kind of veered off track. And that's thanks to us and our conscious awareness level, and some documentaries that have been released, but also thanks to the GFL and the White Hats. So joint effort there. Anyway, and I'm specifically referencing Project Blue Book. I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, so disclosure is happening, but it's also being controlled, and it's being controlled for a reason, because they still want to control the narrative, which means that all of us need to be aware that they still want to control the narrative around cosmic disclosure. So stay vigilant, my friends, right? Question everything. But, okay, one more thing. You can ask for your own disclosure. And you know what? The GFL has never told me, by 2028, we are for sure going to be, presenting ourselves, because there's a lot that can happen before a global, we're going to come down on the White House lawn, right? A lot can happen before that, and humanity's not ready for something like that yet, anyway. So here we are. All right, next up. Okay, this one is from Misty Moonrise on Instagram. Thank you, Misty. I love your IG handle. Okay, what's this moon wobble? Yeah, what's the moon wobble that NASA is talking about that will cause catastrophic flooding in the next 10 years? So apparently what's happening, kind of some of the news is covering it, that NASA is predicting that the moon goes through some sort of like 18-year cycle, and that in 2030, because of this moon wobble and the gravitational pull of the moon, it's going to cause catastrophic flooding. Right? Who knows? Let's just see what the GFL has to say about this. I mean, they just released that, but we're experiencing crazy amounts of flooding, of earthquakes, of tornadoes, of drought. It's a lot that we are all experiencing on the planet, not to mention famine and starvation and uprising and genocide and war. I don't know. Okay, let's just stick to the moon wobble. Let's see what they have to say about that. 1 second. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Okay, yeah. All right. So, as always, guys, take it or leave it. This is something that they have relayed to me before in lesser amounts. So I'll just say it how they said it. And then, like I said, totally up to you. I think I have to put that disclaimer because it is maybe a little bit of an out there, situation in today's society. So basically what they said is that NASA, and like we all know that NASA's like sketchy AF, but NASA this is what they said. Okay, that the moon wobble that NASA's talking about does exist. Apparently, it does exist, but that it's a cover up. It's actually a cover up for something else. So I said, okay, well, cool. Like, what is it a cover up for? Because, the GFL was saying that, yeah, there are catastrophic events happening. Yeah, like, places are warming up or cooling down. Yeah, places are getting flooded. Like, this is all happening. Obviously, we see the videos. You can't deny that. And so basically, this is a cover up. The GFL said that the moon wobble that, supposed to take place in like 2030, it's going to happen and it is going to cause some sort of kind of gravitational effects, but it wouldn't have these kind of effects this early on. So here's what they said it was. They said that this was a cover up for the, what do I call it? The tilt shift, the electromagnetic field shifting. It's like the pole shift. Yes, that's what it is. This is a cover up for the pole shift. Now, they told me about the pole shift back in 2011. I didn't know what they meant. I didn't know what that was going to look like or what have you. So, yeah, global warming is a thing. Yeah, humans are destroying the environment. Yeah, the moon is wobbling. Yeah, that's a thing. And it's creating some, havoc, but later on. But ultimately, the focus on global warming has been a distraction away from the pole shift. So then I asked the GFL, because I'm just curious and I'm a human and whatever. I'm like, okay, so I get that, like, we get blamed for the global warming because of course we are totally ruining the planet, and it's not really the individual, it's the system, it's the big pharma and the governments and what have you, lumber and all of that, the resources. So I get that that's a thing and there's been a distraction there, but that's something that we can affect in a positive way. Like, we can do better, right? But when it comes to like the moon wobble, we can't change anything about our lifestyle to affect that. So I'm like, okay, cool. So why are they blaming a pole shift, which we also can't affect? Like, why don't they just say, hey, it's a pole shift that's happening and this is going to wreak havoc on the sea levels and volcanoes and stuff. Like, why wouldn't they just say straight up, this is a pole shift? So I asked them that, and this is what they said. I just gather my thoughts. Oh yeah, They said that they don't want to disclose that a pole shift is happening because it has happened before. And they don't want to give away basically how old, they don't want to give away the truth about the planet and how old the planet is, how many ancient civilizations there have been, and this huge pole shift cycle that we're in once again. This is maybe the seventh or eighth new Earth beginning that we've experienced on this planet. So they don't want to give any of that away, basically. It's just so bizarre that it's such an intense cover-up, this pole shift. Now, I want to let you know that the pole shift that we're going to be experiencing is not a 180 or 360 degree shift, okay? What they told me back in 2011 was that it was going to be, I think they said about, and they're confirming, about a 10 to 13 degree shift, which is enough to flood coastal areas, which is enough to create tectonic plate shift, which is enough to warm the Antarctic. Did you guys know that the Antarctic used to be a jungle, right? It used to look like Costa Rica, right? So what's happening is natural, but we also need to be aware that we are going to start to see some of these effects as we're already seeing in our life. And it's important to be led to a place on the planet that you feel is safe. That's all I'm going to say. And they're just talking to me. Okay, cool. They're directing me to direct you guys to just take a look at and Google Edgar Cayce's map of the world. So apparently Edgar Cayce, psychic, I don't know, I think he had predictions and stuff. And he ended up drawing a map of the world of the future. Now, the GFL is saying, look in this direction because that's a pretty good indication of where we're going, but that's probably where we're going in like 200 years from now. We are going to start to see that shift in our lifetime. So please check it out. And that's kind of all I'm going to say about the moon wobble and the effects that we're having. But yeah, so curious that the moon is wobbling, but what we're seeing right now isn't necessarily tied to that directly. You never know unless you ask. All right, moving on. This question comes from Lionheart Chad. Will the unveed, okay, be blamed for all that is coming? That's an interesting, I mean, the unveed are already getting blamed for everything that is wrong. Like, man. Anyway, it's freaking, the propaganda is crazy. If you don't do what we say we want you to do, you're gonna die. Not only are you gonna die, but everyone around you is gonna die because of you. I'm like, you guys aren't even trying to cover up your propaganda anymore. Like, it's ridiculous. So it's almost laughable. It's so bad, right? And then the freaking V lotteries, like, oh, so brutal. So brutal. Okay. Sorry, I'm totally getting off track. Will the unveed be blamed for all that's coming? I want to kind of just ask about where are we going, man? It's not looking good. Like anything, just honestly anything from the GFL about this situation that we're in. It's feels like it's getting worse. I don't know when it's going to get better. Let's see what they have to say here. Yeah. Okay. 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 It's interesting. Okay, there's no timeline for this, but what they're bringing up is really interesting. They're giving me all these images, so I'm going to try and translate the images to words, but they were showing me images of the future, and it felt like I would say this future is probably within the next 2 years. Hopefully sooner than that, like hopefully within the next year. Here's what they kind of described to me, the GFL, about just the V and like the fear and the propaganda and the restrictions, especially like the taking away of our free will, and just the mandates, and you can't go to school, you can't get a job, you can't, I mean, it's insane what these governments are not allowing us to do just because we're making a choice to have freedom with our own body anyway, it's wild. So here's what I saw. As always, take it or leave it because it is a future thing, okay? So apparently we're going to get to a point where there's like, I don't know what else to call them, but like laws or mandates. It's suppression, 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 suppression to a point where people who aren't V'd really just aren't even allowed to like exist in society, like really bad stuff, right? At a certain point in time, we are going to have enough people who are waking up. So let's call them the mainstream people. Let's call them part of the whatever 8 billion people out there, waking up, questioning the norms, and standing up and saying no. Like I'm seeing like huge gatherings of people. Yeah, we've already had like anti-V, protests and things like that, but I'm talking like massive scale. Like I'm talking like billions of people getting together to stand up. To say no. And it's so interesting too, because whenever this takes place, it also feels like a lot of the people who have been V'd are also going to be protesting. And the reason why is because it gets to a point where a minority in a society, we've seen this many times before, gets so oppressed, so suppressed, so shit on, okay, that even people who are a part of the system is saying, that's messed up, man. You can't do that. I don't care what kind of government you are. I don't care what kind of business you're running. That is not right. And, this is kind of the message that's been coming through recently, not just about the V, but in general about the New World Order agendas and the dark side is they are really sticking their foot in their mouth in the way that they are just pushing so much fear and so much negativity that it's going to force people to wake up. You get so low, you're broken down so much that there is only one direction to go, and it's up, right? And that's what 2020 gave us. It gave us a massive amount of people questioning the narrative and waking the fuck up, and here we are. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the awakening, right? Man. But like I said, so I asked the GFL, and we're going to get into this maybe in a little bit, but I asked them, I said, why can't we have that now? Like, honestly, if they told me, like, go picket on the street in your small little town in Canada, and, like, I would do it. Like, but for me, I want to make sure that whatever I do is efficient and effective, and I'm not wasting my time and resources to push something that people aren't ready for, right? It's all a balance. So they said, we don't have enough people yet. That's literally straight up why they said it has been happening. We have been fighting, but we don't have enough people right now. And I get that. So I guess we're just waiting for more fear, more suppression, more, lack of freedoms and rights that we have to a point where society actually wakes up as a whole. And I'm grateful that we have, this is going to sound messed up, but I'm grateful that we have such an experience of darkness to lead us into the light. Don't hate the messenger, all right? Wow. Okay, so at a certain point in time, we're here to fight. And I'm all in for that. So at a certain point in time, we need to stand up. We've seen in the past year that protesting has been suppressed big time, but it's a lead up to the ultimate protest, which is we are all human. I don't care what age, gender, sex, race, height you are, we're all human, and we all deserve free choice. We all deserve free will. That should be kind of a basic standard in my books. So, interesting. I'm not surprised that it's going to end in a protest. I'm not surprised. I mean, look at the past 2 years. It's what we've had. And to be honest, it's created change and more equality. So, anywho, moving on. Okay, so next question here from Moonlight Makes. How can we reach more men and invite them into the spiritual community? Great question. I just want to give a huge shout out to all the men who watch my channel. First of all, are you a man that has a wife or a girlfriend that watches my channel? Okay, you don't count. If you're a man who found this channel because you've been awakening or you just woke up or, your female counterpart has not brought you here, congratulations. You are a very, 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 very small minority. And my personal opinion, even though it doesn't matter, we're going to talk to the GFL about it, is men are very prideful and very stubborn and very attached to what they think they know. And it's been very difficult for that kind of man to change and to be vulnerable and say, I don't actually know everything that I thought I knew. So that's where we're at. But I'm so curious what the GFL has to say about just men. Like, God, are we going to see a change? What's up? Obviously, I switched sides for a reason. I'm kind of kidding. Let's go. Let's see what they have to say here. Okay. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. So lots of actually the GFL were laughing at my joke. Really funny. So what they said was there's nothing, like there's no big aha moment for these men in particular. They literally said it's going to be a slow progression. They said a couple of things up, like that's a part of that progression. One of the things is having more women in politics, more women in office, more women in I don't know, mainstream news, more women celebrities, I don't know, right? But more women kind of leading the charge, more women as doctors and lawyers and, yeah, so that's a part of it. What else did they say? They also said that, like, just like the ego and the pride, it needs to be stripped from the men. They said that once we get the men really coming full circle with this is basically the time when there's like a full circle of like the toxic divine masculine leadership that we had in the old world, and then this new frequency that we're entering into, which isn't female, by the way. The future is female, just saying. But no, the future is not female led. It's a balance between divine masculine and feminine. So the transitions are happening, but they're happening at a slower pace. And that's really all they said about that. And they gave me a couple more examples of what needs to happen in order for men to kind of be vulnerable and break down a little bit. But even like a lot of men who lost their jobs in the past year are also breaking down their construct of what it is to be a man. And oh yeah, they were also talking about like divine masculine culture in society and what that looks like and how that's also shattering slowly but surely. So yeah, interesting. It's going to be slow. It's all I need to know. All right, let's move on. Okay, Fit in Nature 2020. How important is it to speak our truth these days, and how can we help? Love that question. It's cool because with the protesting, right, the energy of the protesting, I think that that's going to be a huge pivotal moment of speaking our truth. But yeah, let's ask the GFL that question. How important is it for us to speak our truth, and how can we help in general? Just, okay, 1 second. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. So they're giving me all these images again. So I'll try and translate. So 100% they said speaking our truth is by far the biggest way that we can make an impact. And they were telling me layers of speaking truth, which I didn't even think about. So the first layer is they're like, you have to speak your truth to yourself. And I'm like, damn, like I didn't even think about that. Like, I really thought, I was just really thinking, like, to other people. But no, they said the first step is speaking your own truth to yourself. Stop lying to yourself, right? Stop projecting. The second layer, they said, speak truth to your family and your friends, the ones who you love and you feel safe in. And then they said, speak your truth to the world. And they also said too, I thought this was interesting, they said sometimes people speak their truth to the world and then they backtrack and speak their truth to their family. I feel like I did a little bit of like wobbling in that. And yeah, so that's really fascinating. And then, oh yeah, and then I said, why is it important to speak our truth, right? So obviously it's huge, especially to ourselves, but why? And they said that the resonance, it doesn't matter if like, if say the culture, okay, of this connection, of this conversation was like, oh, EA, you're so divine feminine that your favorite color must be pink. And I'm thinking, oh, my favorite color definitely isn't pink, but I can't tell them that and disappoint them. So I'm going to say my favorite color, or, my favorite color is pink when really it's blue or whatever. Okay. Even though that's a silly and small example, the vibrational frequency of not speaking your truth is a very low vibration. What they were saying was the vibrational frequency of speaking your truth is like, it literally looked like this profound burst of infinite energetic freedom, is what it looked like. And so I was like, wow. So speaking our truth, no matter how small or significant, is so important because it's a vibration that we are emitting. That's really what it comes down to. So let me just follow up with how can we help? Yeah, let's just see here. Right, of course. They're like, speak your truth. And I'm like, great, thank you. Anything else? Yeah, yep. Okay. Yep. Okay, so two main things, of course they come back right away and say, well, speak your truth. But above and beyond speaking our truth, they say, stand in your truth. Experience your truth. Know what your truth is without needing to attach yourself to it. So that was profound. I'm like, okay, cool. Stand in your truth, because that has profound energetic wavelengths that affect everything. And then what was the second thing that they, oh yeah, the second thing was, okay, the easiest way to put this is create your own reality. But specifically, they were mentioning to cut off from other projections of the matrix. Basically, they were saying the other way that you can really help is cut yourself off from the matrix by unsubscribing, okay, to the matrix, to polarity, to massive news stations. Unsubscribe to your family's rhetoric or narratives. Live your own truth. Create your own reality, and do not allow anything or anyone to infringe upon what you know to be true. It's so important. So they were very clear about that's how we can help, is really just standing defiantly in our truth, no matter how many people look at us and think we're crazy, or killing other people. Like, come on, that's the society that we're living in. Just because I'm questioning, I'm killing people now? Like, come on. It's kind of comical, but actually really fucking serious. So, all right. Next question from Manny. How can I connect more to the Galactic Federation myself? Great question. We actually had a bunch of questions that came in through Instagram about how all of you can connect to the Galactic Federation. So let me ask them. Let's see what they have to say about directly connecting to them, so you don't need me anymore, which would be great, right? And I believe that we all have those connections. So let's see what they have to say. Okay. That's true. Okay. Okay, so this is an interesting answer. Okay, so the first response that they had was, all of you, especially, starseeds, old souls, like, you don't even have to be a starseed to connect with them. All you have to do is think about them and you're connected to them. So they said, first of all, you are connected to us all the time. There's no disconnect there. It's like source energy. They are a part of you. You are here for them. They are here for you. We are here for the planet. I mean, we're all here on this party boat of ascension. So that was interesting. And then what else did they say? Okay, they also said, they said there are different kinds of connections. So they said, it was really funny. I thought it was funny. Most humans connect to the Galactic Federation upon understanding who they are and ask them for something, which is fine, totally fine to do that. Can we have healing for the planet? Can I have healing for my son? Can I be more psychic? Can I get more messages from you? And so the GFL said, there is no reason for us to telepathically respond to humans when they are asking us to provide something. So then we just provide it, and the humans are not aware enough to pick up on the fact that we're helping them out and providing. So fascinating. So then I said, okay. So then they said, humans automatically assume that the connection to us, the Galactic Federation, is going to be through telepathy. And they said that that's not always the case, that most of the time it's a give and a receive relationship and dynamic. And they said, if a human wants to be telepathic with us, then they have to ask themselves, to what is the purpose for being telepathic with us? What is that conversation? And I said, oh, that's interesting. They said it takes a lot of time, energy, and resources for them, because we way outnumber and way outpopulate them, for them to kind of have a telepathic conversation with us when we're in need of that telepathic conversation, just really to get the validation that we're connecting with them. Does that make sense? And so I thought that was interesting. Then I asked them, I said, okay, well, I'm curious, why did you guys start having, oh yeah, no, this is what they said. I didn't even ask that question. They said to me, they said, why do you think we started having a telepathic conversation with you? And I said, I don't know why. And they said, long before I connected with them telepathically, we had a reciprocal relationship. I didn't know. I honestly didn't know. And they said, the only reason why, Elizabeth, we started telepathically speaking to you is because we were preparing you for one day being the messenger for us and have these conversations with the public. And I said, oh, so they said, unless there is a very strong need to have a full telepathic conversation, then they will show up and be there for that. But they said, we're always there, and we're always hearing your call for whatever it is that you need, and we try and provide the best that we can. Our providing doesn't always look like a telepathic conversation. And I'm like, makes sense. I mean, I don't know what else to say to that, but they've never really explained it in that way. Yeah. Okay, cool. Moving on. It's like they didn't really answer the question, right? They did and they didn't. They're like that, though. All right, 2 more questions to go. Second last question from Steph Custa. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Okay, what is the thing that you won't let happen on Earth? I thought this was a really freaking great question, and I am so curious to ask the GFL. What is it? What is that thing that you will absolutely not allow to happen on planet Earth? So let's just take a look. Let's see what they have to say. Okay. Interesting. Okay. That's it. They only have one answer. They have one answer. And there is only one thing that they will absolutely not let happen. I've never asked them this question before, so I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. I love it, though. I love their answer. Okay, what is the thing that you will not let happen on planet Earth? And they said, the complete depopulation of humanity. They will absolutely, without a doubt, and I just got full tinglies, not let the entire population to be wiped out. They will absolutely not let that happen. And then they said, oh yeah, okay, 2 more things. Oh my goodness, so juicy. They said, this is why we stop and try and stop all nuclear war. They said that during the Soviet times, if they allowed nuclear testing to take place and to continue to take place, they believe that 2021 wouldn't even exist. The only reason why they stop nuclear war and nuclear testing is because they believe that we would have blown ourselves up a long time ago. And you know what? Yeah, I would agree with them. I don't really know much about it, but I would say, yep. So yeah, so that's interesting. Then they said, okay, this is really crazy. They said that the dark side, the elites, the Illuminati, the shapeshifters, whatever you want to call them, that they are willing, okay, this dark side, are willing to get what they want or completely destroy the planet. That's where they're at. It is an all or nothing game. And that is why the Galactic Federation, because I roll, they abide by the laws of the universe, and the main law that they abide by is the law of non-intervention. The only reason why the Galactic Federation has been given permission by even higher councils than them to, let's call it, interfere or help humanity is because humanity is at risk of being completely wiped out by the dark side, who is willing to completely wipe us out if they do not get their way. And that is not, they said that it wasn't in our contracts to be completely wiped out, but that the dark side continues to override humanity's contracts and not actually abide by that alignment in those contracts. And that's why it's been this battle for centuries. So fascinating. I feel like there's a lot more there to unpack, but I'm going to leave it there for now. Yeah, so interesting. Wow, okay. Before I get to the last question, which is probably my favorite question of the bunch, which is a lot, please share this video, whether it be on Reddit or Instagram or Twitter or TikTok. Share this information. People need to know that there is information out there. There are people questioning the narrative, but the way that I teach as a student is that we don't have to be in fear of the matrix, right? We don't have to feed the matrix by having fear. And I think that that's what makes me stand out in the sea of many other spiritual teachers. I don't really actually know what other spiritual teachers are teaching. But what I've heard is that there's a lot of fear out there, even in this community, and it really saddens my heart because we signed up for this, guys. We knew we were going into battle. We forgot. We've been manipulated. We've been dulled. We've been calcified. But we're here. And we cannot be here and show up in the highest vibration if we're scared. Fear feeds the matrix. I don't care what that fear is towards. It feeds the matrix. It's time to create a utopian society. It's time to create unity by having the highest vibration. And that's my mission. That's what I'm here to do, is to create neutrality in a polarized world. So please share this video. Give it a thumbs up if you resonated with it. And definitely check out some of the other Galactic Federation channels that I've done in the past and that I definitely will continue to do in the future. All right. Last question here is, oh yeah, and subscribe. Okay, subscribe to the channel. I know some of you are not subscribed. This is your message. Don't make me astral travel over there. I will. I'm kidding. I definitely will. That's creepy, actually. But please subscribe. All right, moving on. Last question from I am Salome Young. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Okay, what can we do to concretely stop them from bringing on the New World Order? Love this. For those of you who don't know what the New World Order is, it's a concept that I was introduced to from the Galactic Federation a long time ago. There are many different names for the New World Order. It's basically complete control by the elites. That's all I have to say about that. And I love this question because let's look at real solutions. What can we all do at an individual level to concretely put a stop, put an end to their plans. Because I don't know about you guys, but this is going on for way too long. And humanity's really got to wake up fast, because we're going down the rabbit hole, you know? Let's see what they have to say about that. Exactly, yeah, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, cool. So this is like, I think a lot of us, myself included, are looking for a physical answer. What can we do to stop the corruption? What can we do to stop the NWO? Like, what can we do? And a lot of us are looking for a concrete answer. Sign a petition, do a painting, march around your backyard and yell at the top of your lungs. Like, literally, like, I don't care what it is. Give me the craziest thing. I'll do it as long as it stops them. The problem is, my friends, is that the answer is not physical. It is an energetic, vibrational answer that they gave me. And, like, it's... Okay. Okay, I'll just tell you the image that they gave me, and I take it or leave it. But the image was of planet Earth and all the humans on it, and then the Galactic Federation literally taking the planet and giving it a good shake. Like, come on, wake up. Stop feeding into fear. So the answer is raise your fucking vibration. That's what the answer is. And literally they gave me an image of a human, just kind of like an amorphous human. And it's like, I watch NBC News. I'm a Democrat or Republican. I believe in this. I'm all about Q. I'm against Q. I'm about the V. I'm not about the V. Any sort of polarity that we are subscribing to at this time is giving your power away. And guess what that's creating? It's creating holes in your aura so that entities and parasites can attach to you and feed off of your energy. Like, they are literally so riled up about this, the fact that really incredible Galactic Federation alumni, Starseeds, old souls, okay? You guys know the drill. You signed up for this, and yet you're forgetting that you're feeding the Matrix with your fear. Any fear, doubt is going to feed the polarity. It's going to feed the Matrix. I don't care. They don't care what side you're on. Have a higher perspective. Take a higher perspective. Have a higher, vibration about things. Find small ways in your life every day to appreciate your existence, because there is a lot of projection. There is a lot of fake news. There is a lot of fear. There's a shit ton of propaganda out there, and we're getting fed on. It sounds gross because it is. Okay? Literally, we will shift this planet so rapidly if all of us can just cut ourselves off from all of the fear and the projection from everyone else and raise to our highest vibration. When we do that, the entire world shifts. But we've got incredible, brilliant, intelligent, old souls that are getting sucked in. I don't know. That's it. That's what it comes down to. All right. Love you all so much. Keep up the good work. Thank you for being here. Thank you for questioning the narrative. Thank you for just having an open mind and understanding that we are in World War III right now, and we are only in the war to break down the old system in order to rebuild a brand new one with love and unity. And that's what it's all about. I will see all of you in the fifth dimension frequency.